Hello, and welcome back to another Friday night flight fight. So we have in here again. I think this time we have just bourbons. Could be some rye to be fair. So bourbons and rye. It should be all American this time, but you never know. I have actually said to my wife, who builds this complete mystery lineup for me, that she is very welcome to throw in some red herrings. Availability is, at the moment, everything that's open. So this will be exciting. We'll see what I think of everything, absent of any kind of like bottle bias, and see if I can pick any of them, see how well I do. I feel like my tastings are starting to dial in a little bit better. But I mean, there's no better way than to just get into it. Okay, what do we got here? Quite light still on the nose. Color-wise, it's not too deep on a color. It's quite a, if you can see this, they probably all look quite dark. Oh, in the camera, I think this one here, if I use the notepad, like this one looks a little bit darker. This one does look a little bit milder. Let's go in and okay, very, very light. There's first hit is a little bit watery, like very light, very friendly front on. Stays quite light the whole way through. I can't imagine that having a lot of proof on it. I mean, that's the whole way through is very sweet. I mean, that could be like a Buffalo Trace, like straight up Buffalo Trace, I think. It does have that wheated thing. It's smooth all the way through it. I feel like I want more proof out of that. But I mean, there's zero burn, so I mean, maybe not zero. It's like a small amount of burn. Maybe it's an E.H. Taylor. I could be. I mean, it could. I've been wrong many times. I feel like it definitely has that Buffalo Tracy tone to it. So yeah, maybe E.H. Taylor. It feels a little bit too refined for Buffalo Trace, and doesn't, like, as in like the base Buffalo Trace, like that's got a bit more bite to it. So that could be interesting. That may be an E.H. Taylor. I would put this somewhere between 80 to 90 proof. Mash bill is going to be like 60 to 70% corn, I think, at least. It's going to be like, I feel like it's going to be a high corn. I feel like there may be some wheat in that, which is why I was talking about a Buffalo Trace. But I mean, anyway, it's definitely a bourbon. It's definitely high corn. Well, I say definitely. We'll never know. We will know when I uncover it. Oh, this one's very different. This comes, what is that, like minty sugarcane, like not quite Christmas, but you know those things that you get around Christmas time, like candies of. That's interesting. Wow, this has got quite a lot of oiliness to it. I can see just sitting on the on the rim. What is that? What is that? It's like a. It's exactly. It tastes exactly like it smells. I just can't articulate the smell there. It's what is that? Like a licoricey. That's really, really perplexing. It's not super amazing. Like, this one is very friendly. I could probably call that like an A tier at the moment. It's a bit, maybe that's a bit generous, but like this would be a B. I don't know if I'd get a second. If whatever this is, I probably won't buy it again because it's. I mean, it's just weird. Why are you weird? What are you? You're weird. Copperhead maybe. That was weird when I tasted it. Yeah, I'm not sure what that. Again, not super high proof, so that's gonna be like a 90 proof, I reckon too. Don't see that being super strong. Gosh, what is that? I mean, I'd be able to tell it just by smelling a few bottles, I think. Oh no, this is interesting. This one has a bit more to say. So high corn. I feel like I've lost the proofness taste of that. Oh gosh, what is that? I don't know. Right, what do I think about it? It's very soft, it's very light. I mean, it's a little disappointing. Now I'm getting flashbacks to Weller Special Reserve, of that like disappointing back end. Like, feels like it's got something to say and then it doesn't. But it doesn't have the right. I don't know. It's hard. It's third in the lineup. Let's see. Let's move on to 5. We'll see if we can work our way through it. This has to be more aged because it's got this one. I feel this is young. Oh yeah, there's some proof. There's some spice. even after all the others that comes in. This one's... Oh, that's got a little bit of a rye spice to it, I think. Something comes in late on that. I'm doing this because I can really feel that taste on the top of my mouth. It's just sitting there. It's dried it out a little bit, but it's got a depth of spice and flavor complexity that's like just sitting on the top there. That's interesting. I wonder how that would have been if that was the first glass and I then hadn't had several beforehand. I mean, there's something to that one. I don't know what it is. Maybe, I mean, it could be the New Riff, actually. I recently had that, and that has sitting in the bottle for a week and whatever. When I last tried it, it had improved a lot. Like, it's opened. So actually, here was something from the New Riff tasting, which video is coming. It's like 2.5 hours of audio, so there's a lot to like cut out and find the good bits of audio for that. So that video is coming. But in that tasting, what I did learn is that actually opening bottles, particularly the non-chill filtered bottles, giving them time to breathe in air, they develop, particularly in those first few weeks after they've been opened. The taste does like develop out, and sitting them out in the air and stuff does give them some time to evolve and bring out the taste. Because when I first opened that New Riff, I got a lot of tobacco on it, and it was really quite aggressive in a way that I wasn't sure on. But then when I tasted it again a week and a half or so later, and then at the end of the tasting night, it tasted completely different. So that's an interesting thing. Like that, I mean, a lot of people talk about like the neck pour being like not great. Sometimes you gotta let your bourbon air or let your whiskeys air, and particularly those non-chill filtered. So go back to them and find that sweet spot in the bottle. There's definitely more proof on this one. I would put this at 100 plus. If I had to put my money somewhere, well, he's got, despite smoothness, it does have some bite to it, so. I might even go a little bit higher, like over 110. I'm still, what I've found, particularly since like doing this and drinking and tasting more regularly, is that I'm picking up on things a lot more, and I've got a lot more used to proof. So I find myself wanting some higher proofs, for one, but also I find myself being a little bit more resistant to proofs. So that's interesting, because you have something and you go, oh, that's really strong, and then actually if you just continue with it for a while, your taste buds, it's like spice, like anything really, you get to it. So New Riff. So first picks: New Riff, Special Reserve, E.H. Taylor, Copperhead. That's my initial first reactions. They could be wildly wrong. I will go and have a look in the bar in a minute. Let's see what we got here. Isn't it weird, right? I've watched people do tastings. It's weird when they go, I'm gonna stick my whole head in there. just seems weird. It seems dumb, but it makes a difference when you're like trying to like really isolate a smell and get something out of it. You really need to like smother your whole nose in it. But I think it looks weird. It looks so weird. It feels weird to do if I'm being honest. But I mean, you have to do it because that's how you get the smells. Straight in, straight in. Oh, that's really high. Hit my eyeballs. Interesting. Ooh, what is that? What is that? That came in different to every other one of those. You know what I think that might be? Although it doesn't quite have the... This could be 100% corn, the New Southern Revival that I've got, or High Wide Distillery Revival Jimmy Red Corn. Gosh, trying to remember the name of that. Because it's just like, I remember like when I first tried that, it had this like weird like topness to it. Everything's weird today. It's the word of the day. Weird. But it had this topness to it that proof wise, it's got a bit to it. Like 110 to 116. It's very corn. I feel like there's corn. It's got corn written all over it. That's it. I don't know if there's any surprises there. Let's go to the bar and see what we got. Right, so here is what we're dealing with. What has it come from? So I think, well, this is what I said. I said this Copperhead. I said this E.H. Taylor. And I mentioned the Weller Special Reserve, which I cannot, there it is at the back. This making its own little bit of a comeback. Now, oh, that Redwood Empire, actually. I have not had that for a long time. And the New Riff. And then what else was that? And then this was the New Southern Revival that I thought may be there. So there's my initial thoughts. How much do I believe them? No, it's, yes it is. Now, that second one could easily be Yellowstone. The second one, and that first one could easily be Redwood. But I'm gonna start here. Go with my initial instinct, gut instinct, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so here were the choices. E.H. Taylor, I think, for the first one. Weller for the middle one, although maybe wrong. The Copper Sea, I said Copperhead, Copper Sea, for the third. Now, I can see looking at the colours that I'm already going to be wrong and this isn't going to be correct. But it is what it is. Then I thought, Let's Be Enemies, New Riff, Single Barrel, maybe the fourth. And then the Revival in fifth place. Now, I'm looking at some of those colors and I'm not feeling confident. So I got my wife behind the camera. Do you want to go ahead and grab the real bottles because this is not correct? Yeah, this is bottle number 1. The Yellowstone. I did say that. It came up on my list as potentials. So that's a Yellowstone. So we'll get rid of that one. So that's a Yellowstone. The second bottle is not good because she's gone back. Oh really? Oh, it's a Jack Daniel's single barrel. The odd smell. I'm surprised by that. What is that? Yeah, it does have that odd Christmassy smell to it. What's its tasting? It doesn't have tasting notes on it. Well, that's a Jack single barrel. Okay. The third. Let me just bring these back a little. The third one. Okay. R6. To be fair, that's probably a fair rating on that. The fourth. Okay. Baker's 7. I mean, that's a good shout out for New Riff too, because they're both good little mixes. And the last one, oh, I'm 0 for 5. Oh, really? Maker's Mark. So, a complete shambles. Let's see how I did proof-wise. I said 80 to 90 proof, that it was light. This came in at 93. So, I mean, there's that. The next one with the odd smell, I didn't actually put a proof rating on it, but that's 90 proof. I think maybe I didn't say it was too high, but I can't actually remember what I said on that one now. This one I said was very young as well. What is the age on this? 2 years. It says at least 2 years. I still agree with that being quite young. Yeah, I probably wouldn't buy another bottle of that, to be fair. Interesting. This one I said was 100 proof. 107. I said 100 to 110. So bang on for the proof. Picked it as a slightly higher proof. And I said that the New Riff maybe had evolved in the bottle a little bit. So Baker 7. Okay, good. I quite like Baker's actually, so that's quite good. And the last one I said was 100%, or that was high corn. And I said 110 proof, but it wasn't 110 proof. It's Maker's Mark, it's 90 proof. But it's got more bite to it, which makes sense because it's a lower entry bourbon, which is where I was mistaking a proof. 90 proof. I was mistaking that proof and the corn from that. So that's quite interesting. Wow, there you have it. I have that, this one here, this New Southern Revival. I have that as about a B. It's an interesting whiskey, but it's not a big, it's not like a top of shelf whiskey. So that's interesting that I matched and thought that against Maker's Mark, which I probably feel the same about. New Riff has gone up in my standards. Baker is higher in my standards, so that's interesting. Wasn't massive on this, putting that in the same family or level as a Weller Special Reserve. That also makes sense. Miles off on the E.H. Taylor. What is the proof on an E.H. Taylor? That's a straight 100 proof. That is 93, so, okay. Actually, I mean, that Yellowstone was very nice. I quite enjoyed that. So, I'm going to have to give that credit. That's probably like an A tier, very nice bourbon. I know I haven't had this for a while, so it's been sitting in the bottle with a bit of air in it for quite some time now. But that's very approachable. Not a high proof, so it's very friendly, very, very easy to drink. What's going on with this Jack Daniels, I don't know. It has such an odd smell. Such an odd, like... like Christmas toffee smell. So... right, what wins this is what makes it really interesting. Is that who wins the flight? It's ironic. I didn't say it during the tastings, but it's actually probably this Yellowstone, I think. Would have been close between 1 and 4, and I wish I'd have done it blind, because now I want to say 4, because I would have said 1 felt light, but when I drank through them, number 4 was most like interesting and had some complexity to it that I quite enjoyed, but the easiest drinking was the Yellowstone. If you ask me which do I want to drink again, do I want to drink this Yellowstone again, or do I want to drink this Baker's again? Oh gosh, that's tough. The Baker's has got more going on. The Yellowstone is a little light. Oh, now I've just retasted them. I want to change my mind. I hate to do it. I'm gonna call Baker's this one's winner. Very closely followed behind by the Yellowstone. Very closely behind. The loser for today was R6. Didn't make it through, and the weird one for today is this Jack Daniels, because that was just so weird. Perplexed. Don't know if it was something I've eaten. Alright, well, that concludes it for today, and I'll get that next video out for the new riff tasting soon. I'll have a good one, have a good Friday. I'm going to enjoy the rest of these, and see you in the next one.